Hello again everybody, and I'm moving away from travel and the rather delightful Ausonia's poem from yesterday, and I'm going on to a series of talks about festivals. So some of these are prompted by the GCSE Classical Civilisation course, but some of them are just festivals that I think are quite interesting. So I'm going to start off today with the Dionysia festival in Athens. Now, of all the events happening in the ancient world, if I could travel back in time, one of the first on my list would definitely be the festival of Dionysius in Athens. Apart from the obvious attraction of a festival dedicated to the god of wine and of occasionally outlandish behaviour, there is Dionysius' patronage of the world of drama. We don't know exactly when this festival started, but it was probably sometime during the 6th century BC. Our sources suggest that a key feature of the mythology of all this in the early days was that there was a plague which affected male genitalia in Athens after the Athenians rejected a statue of Dionysus which had been brought to the city. So this had a profound effect on the rest of the festival and the worship of Dionysus, because phallic imagery thus came to be a key part of this whole festival, showing what was even closer to men's hearts than drinking wine. There's also the idea of fertility connected to this, so it was natural that the festival should be held in the spring. So what was actually involved with this festival? It started off with a big procession through the city. The whole thing headed towards the sanctuary of Dionysus, which is on the south slopes of the Acropolis. Just imagine, you're in Athens, it's the beginning of spring, and it's about time for the procession of the festival of Dionysus. There's the excitement building in the crowd along the route. There's the statue of the god. There's the phalloi accompanied by, must have been, a lot of ribald commentary from bystanders. The first competition, about which we actually know very little, was a choral song competition called the dithyramb. All that we know is that it was a choral song in honour of Dionysus. No dithyrambs survive, so we don't really know what they were like. In the evening of the first day, however, was the komos. Now, the komos in Greek means the revel or party, and on that occasion, some leather phalloi were offered to the god Dionysus, and there was lots more drinking of wine. Day 2, which is really the first full day of the festival, began with a sacrifice, probably of a piglet, and libations offered by each of the 10 generals of Athens in honour of the god. Then the rest of the day was taken up with a dramatic competition, 5 comedies. Now each of these would last sort of about an hour and a half or so, so if you were sitting in the theatre of Dionysus, that was quite a lot of of comedy to get through. Now that is when some of the plays of Aristophanes would have had their first airing. Now these are way ruder than much of our contemporary comedy. There's a heady mix of politics and obscenity and satire and music and dancing. A truly heady brew indeed. Days 3, 4 and 5 were the days for tragedies. Sophocles, Aeschylus, Euripides, the absolute titans of European drama, producing their plays for the first time. Imagine being there for the first performance of Antigone, or the mighty Oresteia, or the terrifying Medea. Who wouldn't want to be in at the start seeing those? Then each day finished with a satyr play. Lots of mockery of mythology, lots more obscenity. Now none of these satyr plays has survived in its entirety, but Tony Harrison, modern poet and translator Tony Harrison, has rebuilt one, recreated one, which is called The Trackers of Oxyrhynchus, and there is some footage of that online which you can see. Search it out, it's an interesting experience. Lots of phallic imagery. At the end of the last day, the plays were then judged, or at least they'd been judged all the time, but the judgment was actually announced. So this festival was fiercely competitive. Aristophanes, comic playwright, tells of how he was disappointed one year and was hoping for better luck and perhaps better judgment in the competition that year. So why this festival rather than other festivals? Who wouldn't want to be there for the drama? Who wouldn't want to be there for the parties and the drinking and the city-wide sharing of the moment, that collective act of being in on the drama? Not quite so sure about all those phallic objects though.